I'm Rasheed, Ogunlaru, coach, speaker and author, and I'm delighted to be here with the guys behind Phinkit. Do you want to introduce yourselves one at a time?
Yeah, I'm Martin.
I'm Simon. Hello.
Yeah, and tell us a bit about Phinkit. From what I understand, it's a new exciting social media platform with a different, you wanted it to be fun, you wanted it to be creative, and you wanted people to be able to share who they are and what they did with the world. Tell me, is that essentially it? Tell me a little bit about it.
Yes, it's business with personality. It's the opportunity to express yourself without having to play some of the social media game, really.
Yeah, it's you've got an immediate impact. It's about you being who you are, who you want to be, and you can get noticed straight away without having to do any kind of strategy building or playing the numbers game. But it's also a way of meeting the people that you want to get to know. It's building the right network, building the support, building the people that are going to find you interesting, you're going to find them interesting.
And so how did it come about? I know that your backgrounds include kind of sales and marketing and creativity and helping people think, plan and so on. But how did the whole concept of Phinkit kind of come about? And is it like this kind of stuff you're talking about in business? Are you an example of what you're trying to help people to do?
I think it is actually, it was sales meets creativity. We wanted to give people a bit more permission to empower them to actually achieve a purpose online. So it's purpose built. So whatever you want to achieve, whether that's you're running a business, whether you want to actually do some writing and get an audience, that's your purpose. We give the platform that kind of empowers you, gets you to feel that you can.
And so how did you meet, how did you decide that this is the kind of thing you want to do? Because presumably you both had jobs before.
Yeah, it was born from personal frustration, really, of predominantly some of the big players in social media, how it was about needing to have a certain amount of connections, or it was quite a dry environment to spend time in. So we wanted to do that differently. So that was our kind of problem and challenge statement. How do we create something where it's not about who you know or how much money you have to spend on advertising, and make it more about what you have to say? And
presumably going on this whole journey of creating something like Phinkit takes a lot of courage, because I know that you both before were employed, doing well-paid jobs and so on, and to go on that journey of deciding to set up something that you spot could be done differently, especially in the field of social media that people might think might take thousands and thousands and thousands to even compete. That must take a lot of courage. How have you had the courage, or how have you gone on this journey from being employed and so on, having that safety, to thinking, no, this is what we're going to do, and building it and creating it?
It's the bravest thing that either of us have ever done, but it's having that conviction and that knowledge that you are doing something which has real purpose and real value. We boost each other, and the team behind us as well. We've got to actually keep up that energy, keep up that belief. That our thinkers as well, using the site, we get such good feedback and good vibe from that. So it's positive energy. It's just that reinforcement. It's that reminding ourselves every day that we're doing this for a very good reason. Really. And
tell me just very briefly about, if somebody was to log onto the website, Phinkit.com, I should know. So if somebody, there's no .com there. But if somebody was to go onto a website, what would they find on the site? If somebody was just looking on the site for the first time, is it going to be like a recognisable site where there's articles and there's videos? Just give people just a flavour of what they find on the site.
It's basically a multimedia mashup. So what you would find is people doing short updates through the medium of video and images and just a little bit of text. So kind of like your Facebook kind of updates, and then you'd see lots of articles.
Yeah, so we've got a wealth of content, but back to what we were saying earlier, is that we're empowering people to think a little differently about how they go about this. So we're getting people to start to play around with how they want to present themselves in a message.
So if I was to join, let's say today or what have you, I could go on, I'd create a profile, and then I can post whatever it is that I'm wanting to post. Can I post anything? It could be an article, or it could be, could I post a video or something like that?
You're free to do whatever you want, however you want to express yourself, however you want to make your impact. That's what we're providing.
And one of the greatest things that we've done is that if you were to follow that and create an article, it can be a multimedia story that you want to present. You could use lots of images, no images, lots of video, no video. Just make it text only. It's down to whatever you want, as Simon said. But what you would immediately get is views and interaction. based on the article that you promote. So you don't need to know a single person on Phinkit.
Oh, so it doesn't need to be a numbers game. You could just go on there just because, so presumably you could just go on there and post things up because you've got things to say or things you want to get off your chest, or you could go in there and connect with other people, or just go on there and find and explore other kind of content.
Plus use it to help get the content to other networks you use. So creating Phinkit, you can share it out quite easily to Twitter.
And this is interesting. I remember when I was chatting to you guys about this before, you said you were quite clear that you wanted to make it kind of like an open platform so that people could dovetail it with other social media platforms. So you don't see it as like a competing with other social media platforms.
It's complementary, I think. It's complementary networking to what's already out. We're not going to try and say, right, this is the only site we're going to use, but this is a site where you can create brilliant content which is all about you and what you have to say, and then share it in the right places.
And so what are you most proud about today about that? And I know the site's still very, very young and so on, but what's it you're most proud about the whole journey so far?
I think that any feedback that we get, really, because as you mentioned, it's taken a lot of courage to do it, and it's just about validating what you knew to be correct, the gap that you saw. So that would be my one. I don't know about you, Si.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we're doing, we know we're achieving it when we get that feedback, but I think if we even look at what we've achieved as a team, and we've learned a silly amount of stuff over the last year and a bit, the skills that we have now are ridiculous compared to what we started with. So I'm proud of what we've all achieved, and we are a kick-ass team now, right? Yeah.
Fantastic. And tell me a little bit about what's your hopes and what's your aspirations for the future? Because I know that you kind of, I get the sense that you've called it Phinkit for a reason. You know, you both are very passionate about how we engage in life, what we do, and doing things that are meaningful and trying to bring something of value to the table. So I know that you're genuinely passionate about what it is that you're doing. What are your aspirations for yourselves and for Phinkit? What is that you're really wanting to achieve?
Well, sustainability without adverts would be the corporate response, because we don't want to do annoying ads and the overkill that you get in, say, a Facebook, for example. And on the personal side for me is that I want it to be a platform where young people can help bridge their skills and showcase their talents. There's a lot of unemployment and a lot of talented people that can't find jobs at the moment. Why not use Phinkit as a showcase so that they can then meet people and people can say, wow, I really like what that person's got to say. I want to speak to them.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Job. That's my kind of professional and personal.
Well, I think for me, it's one of the reasons I got involved is to empower people to actually be a little bit more creative, have these sort of new ideas and enact them in a way that they might not have done before. So it's about having a sustainable network where people are actually enjoying it, they're getting value from it, they're getting new work if they're looking for work. But it's also that people are having more fun, people are being more creative, people are actually opening up. And if we can start seeing that, and we're already seeing that, and if we get that to a sustainable level where it's recognised, hey, Phinkit is a place to come on, be yourself, get a bit more creative, interact with some brilliant people. That's the ideal.
Fantastic. And just before we close, are there any people who, if somebody's watching this, is there any people who you think, you know what, if this is your scenario, then Phinkit's probably going to be something that might be of interest to you. So tell me, who are the kind of people that you think particularly are going to find Phinkit very useful? And you may have pointed to some of those already when you were saying it might be somebody who's young, quite talented, they've got all these gifts, like amazing paintings or poet or whatever it might well be they be, and they could share that and share their skills, whatever they might well be, in as a platform. But are there any? Do you want to broaden out from that and say, are there any particular kind of people you're finding that this is really going to resonate with you? You talked a little bit about business as well, people who are running their own business. Do you want to?
Yeah, I think anyone that's looking for to get their voice heard, really. Be that in the examples that you talked about with young people or businesses, anybody that is frustrated that they want to be able to market their business without spending money, and just get their message seen for what it is, rather than for having to play a game.
Fantastic. Well, that sounds like a lovely place to leave it. I just want to wish you all the best with continued success of Phinkit. And again, it's Phinkit.com. Say it, share it, think it. Thank you both very much. Wishing you both all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much.